Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok did good with the 80s theme back. We're going to do that too.
Exactly, man.
He just wants to like, dude, I want to take a step back, you know?
Maybe.
Probably wants to chill on an island, punch his clown for
I know, right?
Keep your robe closed, sir.
That's not sexy.
So...
Yeah, I still think she's walking in with lingerie and walking out in sweatpants.
Stick around, 'cause I am coming back. And I know someday I'm gonna make it big.
Talk about shit we talk about anyway. Just
Seriously.
That's the plan. That's the dream. But anyway, all right, let's get to the show. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Nick, Jon, and Jamie Show. I am Jon.
Nick.
And I am Jamie.
So we did run way long last episode. We had a lot to talk about regarding video games. That was a fun talk. We had the boys on. Got down with some video game history because we were the codgers out of the crew, and it was. I think we had a lot. It was a chock full episode. I know that we were going to mention some highlights on E3. I think some of the things that they were talking about is really just, up in the graphics, up in the consoles. I was looking for something that something along the lines of like VR or something.
Well, they really pressed that Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
that was like the big ordeal because I guess all the characters are going to have in it.
Yeah,
I could give two shits,
but they didn't really come out with like what John was saying.
No, not at all.
Well, wow, this is going to be something new that's going to blow our mind.
They led to that they're going to come out with new consoles, but not till I think it's like 2021 or something like that, and pretty much we're going to drop the price of our current consoles. So then that ended up like the Xbox and PlayStation pretty much having like a price war.
Yeah,
but not much of a price war because Xbox One X is at like $450 now, and then the PS4 Pro is I think it's like $350. I think.
Here's a question: without going VR, how much better can they get?
I mean, they
4K.
could. Yeah,
I mean 4K, but like, I mean, now you're just like, it's not like going from Atari to Nintendo where it was like, whoa, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you really have to like look at it to see the differences. I mean, it's like going to seeing a 4K TV from seeing just an LED TV. I mean, if you put them back to back, yeah, there's definitely differences. But when you're looking at like one over there and one over there, it's like, all right, is it blowing my mind? Not really.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's, and I think there was an overall, like some of the articles that I saw, they said this is almost like a reset year or a game. Yeah. It's where it's like a rebuilding year, to where people are probably not quite there yet with their R&D, for all the upgrades.
Yeah, well, that, and then like if you look at like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, it's like the same platforms. They just like updated them. Like, AKA they released them too early and now it's got like the good shit in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you said, like it's all about the games or gaming in general, which by the way is now a mental illness. Did you see in the news?
I did see that headline.
Mental
did
illness
you read
about
it?
gaming?
Yeah, I like just they're deeming it like a mental illness because I know like
it has to be official though, so it's not official.
Whatever, dude. This has happened for years. Even back in the day when I used to play games, there was kids whose parents just didn't pay the fuck attention.
Yeah,
and that's all they did was play. That's the mental illness.
Yeah, and if you in rock and roll, you're Satan worshiping and you're going to hell if you're listening to Led Zeppelin albums backwards or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like. Come
Little
on.
Nicky reference.
Yeah, exactly. I have some news
I see
on
what
that.
you're doing there.
Yeah. So, I think overwhelmingly it was a good episode. The only other thing that we did touch on that I wanted to continue just a little bit was I know we touched on Anthony Bourdain passing, and that was kind of it was a huge bummer.
Shocker, yeah, definitely.
And I was going to talk about like what we've been watching, and I've been watching a lot of Parts Unknown, and they still have episodes coming out,
like 3 or 4 episodes that are like filmed.
And there's one episode where it was really funny. He was in Uruguay, and pot's legal there.
Yeah, I saw that. I
Did you see that?
Yes.
I didn't see that one. Did he get like?
But he got cleared to now smoke on air.
Yeah, and he made like a comment while he was doing it.
He made a comment about Jeff Sessions.
Yeah, that's it.
He basically said something like, "If Jeff Sessions saw me, that he'd be shitting himself or something."
Yeah, his
like
head
that.
would explode or something
Yeah.
like that.
So, moment of silence for Anthony Bourdain, and into the news. So this week we're going to talk about animation. What's our favorite animated movies? Why we still dig it, even though they're not just for kids. I mean, especially because they're not just for kids anymore. But we'll get to that a little bit later. We can talk a little bit more after we get through some news. One of the things I wanted to bring up was actually
Space Force. What, dude? I want you to refer to me as Lieutenant, Space Commander Jamie.
Actually, I'm going all out of order this week. Let me start over by we'll do box office first, and then we'll get into the news. So this week's box office, and it kind of goes hand in hand with our topic, which is animation. Incredibles 2 came out and owned in a big way the weekend. Did $182 million over the weekend. Wasn't even like it was like a holiday weekend or anything. Granted, it was Father's Day, but it didn't even have like a day off on a Friday to leech off of. It was just straight up. This is the weekend, and they put their big, incredible dick on the table. And
It was
like,
packed.
Look at me.
When I went, it was packed.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was a lot of kids
too.
there, right? All these kind of kids, and
Yeah.
And I was that asshole that brought my baby too.
Oh, you did you get to watch the
Dude,
whole thing?
I was like so worried about it. I was like, every time I heard a noise, I was like, I'll take him outside. I'm not gonna be that guy.
because you don't want to be at late.
Yeah, I
hear
hear-
him crying.
I hear him,
and
like-
crying
like-
and crying.
If I heard him like hoot or something like that, I'd be like, all right, I'll take him. See it. I'm like, all right, that's it.
I saw the movie. Jamie saw the movie. Nick, you did not get a chance to see the movie
Sorry, I did not.
because you have to, you have time cordoned off for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That's
pick your
what-
poisons, man.
You do, and especially coming up in this fall, there's a lot of good stuff. So I gotta really map it out.
It can really be something else, you know what I mean? Because especially because the genres that we really dig are so popular right now that it's every other month there's a movie coming out that we would thunk down some cash to go see. But Incredibles, like I said, owned the box office this weekend. Ocean's 8 was number 2, a distant number 2.
I heard it sucked.
I heard it's fun. I heard it's fun.
Fun, is that what the critics say, or was what the TV ads say?
Well, no, I actually saw a review or listened to a review, and I heard it was a fun movie. But it's like they're Ocean's movies.
Okay, well,
You know what I mean?
so I'll catch you on HBO or something.
You'll catch it on HBO.
The first one's the best.
I agree.
You
I
know,
totally
Ocean's
agree.
11 was an awesome movie, and then they try to capitalize, and it just got worse. It's just like kind of like Jurassic Park movies, which is coming out this weekend, and all I heard is it sucks.
Really?
Oh, it's like going back to the well, dude.
Dude, they're killing
that bitch
it.
is dry.
Now they
Yeah.
get to the mainland. Oh god.
Yeah.
The reason I wasn't digging this movie so much is as far as like two reasons. One, nobody asked for this movie. Two, it seems like a knee-jerk reaction to women's empowerment. And yeah, don't get me wrong. I think there's a lot of shit that needs to be discussed. We talked about this ad nauseum, so I don't want to get into it anymore. But it makes me feel like moviegoers, like it's condescending to moviegoers. Like they're stupid enough to eat this movie up. Let's make another one, And know what we'll do? We'll put all women in it. How about that? That would be like, look how it worked out for Ghostbusters. it didn't.
Yeah, that shit the bed, and no fault by the women. I'd like to put that out there. That writing, whoever you are, man, woman, child, you suck, sir.
Yeah,
woman, whatever.
Well,
that writing was.
Didn't it get a
absolutely
critic score
terrible.
a high, like a 70s critic score?
That fucking.
pandering.
I have never
That
seen
movie
it. I will
sucked.
never.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's pandering, is what it is. And
Well,
it
it's
makes
misuse of those characters too, because those are all great. They're funny. They're all funny, and you just like shit the bed with them. I don't even know how you do that. That's like grabbing Bill Murray and doing something shitty, which there's a couple I can name off the top of my head.
He's
But
had some
you know what's
stickers.
funny about that, though? They have all these movies that come out every year, and even the big name actors, they still money grabs. They still make these movies.
Hey man, you gotta make
Matt
a check.
Damon is notorious for it, but then he'll have like 2 movies that suck, but then he'll have 2 really good movies, and you're like, wow.
It's deal making,
Yeah.
really. What is it?
It's all about them apples, man.
Yeah, they make. It's like they say, we'll do this. You do this movie for me, and I'll make that movie for you.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like if you're dealing with a movie company, it's like, okay, you can do this. I want to do this movie. I love the script. Okay, well, you need to use a Paramount director, a Paramount screenwriter, and a Paramount cinematographer. And you're like, shit, I don't know if I can make the same movie that I thought I was going to make. I get it. Make it. I don't get it, but I'm like I said before. I'm a cinephile. I love the behind the scenes stuff. I love digging in and finding out about all the little nitty gritty.
Except for the potted plant deal.
Except I don't want to know about.
You
a
don't want to
potted
watch
plant.
anybody jerking off with a potted plant. I get that.
Keep your robe closed, sir.
It's not sexy.
So, so this movie, this movie Tag, which looks like it could be pretty funny.
Did you know Jeremy Renner broke both his arms doing this movie?
I saw
Hannibal burst.
They had to CGI his arms or something like that. It's crazy. He does
crazy.
Avengers movies. There's probably a lot of action in that. Even though you're doing CGI, then he does a movie Tag and he breaks his arms.
That's ridiculous. But that came in at number 3 at $14,900,000, almost $15 million. Solo still in the race, but it's a meager $10 million for that movie.
But a good movie.
It's a good movie. It's
Yes.
total domestic now is $193 million. I'm not sure what it's doing internationally, but it's surpassed its budget. But like I was saying before, with Ocean's 8, it's $40 million plus $18 million. That's $60 million. It's $70 million just to make the movie.
And you don't know how much they put in for marketing. They just
Exactly.
put in for how much the budget was to make the movie.
Yeah.
Marketing could be anywhere from $5 million to $100 million.
Yep, exactly. So Deadpool 2 is coming up at number 5. That movie crushed. It's $294 million total domestic gross. I mean, and did $8 million this weekend. Superfly, I didn't know what this was, Superfly. But that movie came in at $6 million. Hereditary, the horror movie with Colette. I can't remember her first name. That came in at $6 million. Avengers Infinity War is coming in at number 8. It did $5 million. But the big news around that is that it cracked the $2 billion mark.
Damn.
And it surpassed
Titanic. Domestically.
Yes, domestically. So it's a good time to be digging some geeky goodness for sure. Adrift was number 9, and then Book Club, which our wives saw
And said it was
really
good.
liked it.
Yeah.
So-
I said it was good.
So Book Club rounded out the top 10
And
with
no
$1
Gotti.
million.
No
1.8.
Gotti, son.
No Gotti actually
got
was number
0.
11.
Well, let's not talk shit about it because I don't want to be wearing.
But I just want to say this: I've never heard of I've never heard of a movie getting 0 for
It got
critics.
panned, dude. Totally panned.
Sorry, John Travolta. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
$1.7 million.
Hey, wait, seriously, what's the last movie he made that was any good? That's a tough.
I like Broken Arrow.
That was forever ago, man.
I know.
That's what I mean. I couldn't went back-
off the top
That's
of my-
that's when Christian Slater was still making movies.
Yeah.
Dude, Christian Slater, dude.
Christian
Gleaming
Slater.
the Cube, son.
Christian Slater's
Who
actually
knows
been in
Gleaming
more
the
than he
Cube?
has, though.
that?
iRobot, he was in iRobot, Christian Slater.
Dug that
That show,
big
for the
time.
first 2 seasons, they were really good. He was in that. It was really well done.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of secondary roles, but he's still prevalent.
But he used to be a movie star.
He used to be. I mean,
movie star.
Pump Up the Volume and
Pump
all
Up
that.
the Volume was awesome.
It was
I
a
love
great
that.
movie. Dude.
I'm sticking by Gleam in the Cube, dude.
Heathers.
What was a Quentin Tarantino movie? I mean,
Oh, that's my favorite movie ever done.
What?
That was you totally threw me off.
that's a fact check, dude.
Well,
that's a
who?
sad fact
Who?
check.
Christian Slater and
True Romance?
The one with the Christopher.
Romance,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
it.
That's it. Oh, we're
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken and who's the and
Dennis Hopper.
he goes.
Yeah, it was just totally that whole movie. I mean, Gary Oldman, Christian Slater, it's all-star cast. Dennis Hopper. That movie's fantastic.
That's what it's a classic, dude.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, there's some movies,
Soundtrack.
but you know, it's always funny when you think about movies. Some movies that come out, like Caddyshack, actually wasn't a classic when it first came out. It actually got bad reviews and all that.
I heard that.
20, 30 years later, it's a classic
Yeah.
and it's like revered. The first one, second one's a dog.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just go to the point. I mean, not to get stuck on Caddyshack, but that's an exact example of some movies that fail in the beginning just get a cult following.
Super Troopers.
Super Troopers is
Totally,
another one.
dude.
I didn't see the second one, but the first one is one of my all-time favorite
Blade Runner.
comedies. Huh?
Blade Runner.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Blade Runner, not the second one.
Didn't do great in the box office.
Yeah, it just got a cult following. It
Yeah.
started going.
There's
You know
a
what
lot
I mean?
of movies like that. I dig that shit. So some other, I was catching some trailers, and I wanted to touch on this last week, but we didn't get to it. Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, yeah, looks good.
It does, man.
I'm not a
Alright,
horror fan,
looks
but the whole point about where they go to prison and he pulls out the mask and everybody's going nuts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not a Halloween or a horror genre, but that intrigues me about what he looks like.
Yeah.
It really gets to me. I'm like, ooh, what does he look like?
And it's got Jamie Lee Curtis in. They're forgetting about all the other Halloweens. This would be like Halloween 2.
She's old too.
Oh yeah, she's gotta
Remember
be
her
in
in
her 60s. Trading Places?
No, True Spies or
True Lies.
True Lies when she was all like doing that dance scene.
Did you see her? Yeah. Oh, she's a phenomenal body. Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ty Carey, though, I'd take that over. Just saying.
But it looks good. I mean, I was shocked, and it's one of the movies that pokes at that little nostalgic spot in my brain where I'm like, I remember when I was a kid.
Hell yeah.
And is it done by the original director? I'm curious.
John Carpenter? I think so. Yeah.
Because if they do it right, it could be really well done. Like, I mean, to the point where it's like Halloween is one of those where they actually have a character that wasn't like, it's not like Freddy Krueger where it's in the dreams or something like that, or Jason where he came from the undead.
Yeah, Jason
or
was
whatever.
kind of boring. Freddy Krueger was kind of funny.
Yeah.
He was funny, but
Well,
you
not
know,
the first one.
I just kept thinking he was.
Yeah.
I kept thinking he was going to take me up to a spaceship with V and all that.
Yeah.
So, and they're having How to Train Your Dragon 3 that's out too.
I dug the first one.
So did I.
Second
even
one was
dug the
good.
second
That
one
was
too.
that would have been on my list.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, totally.
they're good.
And but the 3, it seems like they're dipping from the well.
But I think they're going to make a show.
Yeah, probably.
They're trying to push a show out there. I think.
I thought they had a show on Saturday.
Yeah, I think
Sunday.
Netflix
Do they have a show now?
I think Netflix.
Oh,
has it.
okay. I heard. I don't know.
Yeah. But looking forward to checking it out because it does look good. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around here. Looking forward to checking out Halloween. I'm probably going to pass on How to Train Your Dragon.
I'll watch it.
Lego Movie 2.
Hell yeah, I'll watch it.
I don't know. I love the first one, but we'll see if it.
I like that kind of comedy. It's funny.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it for sure because the Batman one was awesome.
Yeah.
but I don't know about going to the movies if that's what you're asking.
I gotta watch
Yeah.
that Batman one. Every time I watch it, I'm with the kids, and I just can't like.
It's funny. Dude.
It is
I
funny.
know. Well, the parts I did, but I'm watching with the
I
kids.
love
so
when
I'm
he's
not really
like going
watching.
back and forth about Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah.
It's just it cracks me up.
So they came out, and this news is a little dated, but this is somewhat of a continuation of the last episode. They showed the new Predator trailer. I have zero interest in this movie.
They really I just feel like they're beating that shit with a dead horse. I mean, first of all, if you're going to go with that genre, you know how I feel about this. Nowadays, people like storylines. Go with something with a storyline. Mm-hmm. Why do they do this? Why is the Predator so like
It was cool.
Engaged in it? I thought the second one. You ever watch the second one with
I
Danny
like
Glover?
Alien versus Predator too. Yeah,
that was kind of cool where they throw it in where they've been doing this for years and it's a hierarchy.
Danny Glover.
Mm-hmm. You found that out. I felt like if they would have kept going with that,
it would have
been better.
That's why I liked Alien versus Predator, because they kind of dipped into that, and how like hunting the alien was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But after that, you're right. It's garbage.
Yeah, they're just throwing shit together now to make
just
money.
like, hey, let's make some.
And they get B actors to be the main focus, and it's like, all right, we'll just do a bunch of Predator running around, and these guys say a couple words, and it's like,
and Aliens the same way.
Yeah.
So
Prometheus pissed me off. I love Prometheus, but I didn't like the second one, just because I thought they should have went more into the creators. Yeah. I thought that would have been a way you could still dip into the aliens, but they still should have went more into the creators.
They need to do the next Alien movie where they're on Earth, and it's almost like Terminator when they showed the future scenes.
Yeah, well,
Like, think
it's
about
like
it,
Jurassic Park. It's like the same thing. Why didn't they do where they go to the mainland like 10 fucking things ago?
They did. Tyrannosaurus Rex got to like San Francisco, I think. It was bad.
That's how much I know.
Yeah,
because it was that good.
But it should be one of those things to where it's not, in my mind. If I was going to write an Aliens movie, it's the
creators
Fassbender gets to Earth, right? Mm-hmm. The creators would have been awesome. And
I thought if they would have like. Not to cut you off, but I thought if the whole last one, I don't mind them using the aliens to kill the creators. I was fine with that whole aspect, but I thought they really should have touched more on why the creators do what they do and all that, because they let that nugget sitting out there, and that just for me anyway. I don't know about the rest of us. I'm one of those people that I'm like very like dig the past and dig history of a reason. If you're gonna hang that nugget out there, well, why not answer the questions or at least fill the void a little bit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to do the whole thing. I get it's an alien movie.
Well, do you remember how the last Alien movie, was it Resurrection or what was it? It was the one where the end is basically the android played by Michael Fassbender. Mm-hmm. He's got the ship with all the embryos.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see the end. I kind of turned it off.
Well, he's the only one that survives, but he's the one from the first Prometheus.
Oh yeah,
remember Prometheus?
Yeah, because there was two of them.
Yes.
In the second one, there was the one that was left on the planet. Well, the one that went to the planet of the creators, and then there was the one that came with the ship.
Yes, the one that came with the ship got killed by the one that was on the planet. Spoilers.
Right.
Got killed by the one that was on the planet.
Okay.
And so he got into just creation. Like, I want to study these things, create them, grow them, like a little bit of a God complex.
Yeah.
And so he basically wipes out everybody on the ship. Mm-hmm. And then, except for the one survivor that he puts to sleep in one of those chambers.
Because he wants to...
Well, he's got... And then you show him, because that whole ship was carrying human embryos to repopulate a planet.
Right. It was a colony or something like that.
Yeah. So what he does is he basically has one embryo of, I think it was a face sucker. Yeah. And he puts it in with all the other ones. It's like 2,000 colonists or something like that. And then I believe he's going either to a planet or back to Earth. I can't remember. But anyway, in my story, like, if they go back to Earth, I want to see like post-apocalyptic, man. Right. And it's like, you remember in Terminator when they showed the future and it's like they're rolling over skulls and stuff like that? I want that to be humans and they have to fight their way back. They develop technology, ragtag type stuff.
You know what that reminds me of? The Tom Cruise movie with Emily Blunt?
Yeah, Oblivion.
Is it Oblivion?
No. It was, where is it? It was like wash, rinse, repeat or whatever.
Yeah. That was cool.
That was cool.
And actually,
you're right.
They're going to do a second one, supposedly. And it's I don't know. It's going to get more confusing because it goes back farther.
Wow.
Because he killed. I don't know.
I enjoyed that movie.
I liked it. Yeah. I've seen it. It's a rewatch factor. I've rewatched it a couple of times. It shows up on TV. I'm like, there's no. I can watch this. And I'm not a huge Tom. I guess I am a Tom Cruise fan, but I'm not a Tom Cruise who he is.
Yeah.
He does make decent movies.
Absolutely.
Action movies. I
didn't think I had any juice in the tank to go see another Mission Impossible, but
this looks good.
yeah.
And I don't think it's because of him. I think it's because the Superman guy.
The Henry Cavill.
Dude, he just intrigues me. I think, we're going to get on DC, but I think as casting goes, right role for Superman. They just have to put a good script together for him.
Yeah. Speaking of DC.
Good segue.
Yes, thank you. DC just went through a big management shift, right? And so DC...
They needed to.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to reevaluate. They're getting like direction from their chairman. I think his last name's Hamada, I think. To revamp. So they fired the president of DC Entertainment. The Jeff Johns, who was the chief creative officer there for movies and TV, he started out as a writer. He's an awesome writer. Loves the DC properties. He's a fanboy.
That's what you need.
Yeah, but I don't think he had enough juice to really move big blocks around. And so that's why they would take his ideas and then it would get twisted and he was kind of new.
But the same thing would happen with Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Probably Iron Man was like, because he had a couple failures and then they said, here's your one shot. Go ahead, do it. And he did it the way he wanted to. He put it all on the table and then look what we have 10 years later. So, I mean, I didn't even know who Kevin Feige was until about 4 years ago.
Yeah, me too. It was until I started to figure out that they were doing this grand plan. Figure out, you were being told. But real quick, so hopefully they'll be able to turn this movie franchise, the DC Universe, around and be able to put some really good stuff out.
I'm excited for the Aquaman trailer. I mean, everything I've heard that people that have seen it, whatever, that European Comic-Con type deal that they do, said it was really good. It's fantastic. And I like the guy that got playing Aquaman. I think it really adds some legitimacy to the character because he's just not art. He's just not in the water. He's still a big, tough guy. He just can do other things. And, the Wonder Woman trailer came out that time too. Supposedly Infinity 4 trailer came out that time too.
Really?
It's like 1984 or something like that.
For Wonder Woman. Yeah. Retro right there, Jamie.
I'm pumped. Yeah, but what about Daredevil, dude? Like that shit was fucking. He's lame, dude.
What do you mean?
The Daredevil and Superman, or Batman versus Superman.
Daredevil.
Not Daredevil. I'm sorry, the Flash.
The Flash.
Yeah,
I'm like out of it. But the Flash.
Well, if they're scrapping Justice League, maybe they can scrap the Flash guy too. Or are they actually going forward with that?
Well, I mean,
his suit blew too.
Yeah, it was
that
stupid.
Suit was dumb.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing a younger version of the Flash. I get it because he's going to be the comic relief. But that guy was a weasel.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It's just miscast. That's all. I
think
Ezra Miller is a good actor, but it was just a miscast.
And I think everybody else was cast fine. I even like I like Ben Affleck as an older Batman.
Me too.
As an older Batman, not as a younger Batman. Now they're going to do a new movie. They're casting somebody else because they're going to do a younger Batman. And Joaquin Phoenix. Oh, not Joaquin Phoenix.
They're talking about doing a Joker movie.
He's doing it, not Jared Leto.
Well, I forget. It's getting. They're all in development. Development just means
I could like Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh yeah, so do I.
Because I think he could do a good Joker. Not a great Joker, because I don't think anybody could ever match. I just watched it the other day. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Did you realize what those 3 movies were about? Because the first movie was about fear, second movie was about chaos, and the third movie was about pain.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I read this whole article about the Christopher Nolan trilogy and how the Joker was supposed to be in the last movie and he was going to have a major role in it, but because I think he was going to be more of what the Scarecrow role was, how it was limited, but I think it was actually going to be really expanded. Yeah. They were going to free him from Arkham, and he was going to be the guy terrorizing the whole city while the League of Shadows does what they do behind the scenes.
Speaking of which,
that would be cool.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that'd be a good DC idea. Like, do a good rated R Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, we talked about that, didn't we?
Dude, that would be legit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like, rated R,
Well, that's a movie. Like we talked about a video games getting turned into movies and how we would love to see
video game.
Battlefront. Not Battlefront. We had how we'd love to see like the Force Unleashed.
But maybe that's what Hollywood needs to catch up to, is because a lot of these video games, like we talked about last week, would be R movies, and they try to dumb them down to fucking make them PG.
They're totally R movies.
Yeah, right. Now that maybe Hollywood, you just need that one big actor like a Matt Damon or whoever to take over a role of a video game and make it an R movie and own it.
Yeah.
And I think once you get this, like Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr., it wasn't an R movie, but he owned that fucking role. And he brought everything to the forefront. You know what I mean?
Totally, man.
I think you need that for video games. The right role for video games.
Yeah, but I mean, if tap into whatever you need to tap into, but you need to check. And Nick, you've said this time and time again. You need a Kevin Feige to design this master plan. Now, Kevin Feige is just an overall good producer. Like he has to deal with fires all the time. Like he was. They didn't have Spider-Man, right? They had
to build around it.
They had to write that in. That they didn't.
But it probably worked in their benefit because DC leans on their two big characters too much. And Spider-Man going into this was probably the biggest character Marvel ever had. Yeah, they had to work around that.
That's a good point, though. But like the Flash, he's got like a big backstory, and they could have a really good movie on that. They just got to go about it the right way.
They did make a really good movie, and I have it in my list. Flashpoint Paradox was a DC animated film. When we talk about animation, I'll dive into a little bit more.
You love the DC animation.
They do it. They kill it.
The Dark the Dark Knight series is phenomenal. I mean,
whoever's running DC animation should be taking notes. Whoever's running DC films should be taking notes from what they're doing in DC animation. They're not all out of the park successes, but damn if they're not a lot of really good animated features.
You know what I think Christopher Nolan did? What? I really do with the Batman. It just you almost had that feel, because I rewatched. They were on the other day. They did a little. I didn't watch all of them, but I'm like flicking back and forth between channels.
That time, dude. That time.
What? Shut the hell.
Oh, that time.
Get off my ass, dude.
I'll just say.
Anywho, shut up, Jamie. I was flicking back and forth, and you notice that it's just really well done and put together. Everything's tied together in the movies, and I think DC missed that in the grand scheme. I think a lot of these things, even Catherine Kennedy missed the boat. The blueprint is Marvel and what they're doing. Now, what people want is a buildup of years. They want that. They want it to be continued, even though they say they don't. Really, we do.
Yeah. It's just, I can imagine.
It started with Harry Potter, to believe it or not.
Yeah.
7 movies. It was 8 movies. Buildup of years. And people were like hooked. Every movie made more than the next.
Yeah, and they had the books as the script.
Right. And, you had comic books as the script for you guys.
Exactly. It's exactly right. So hopefully...
Game of Thrones, same thing, but that's later talk.
Yes. So hopefully with DC, they'll be able to get their shit together and really start cranking out and some good stuff. Their stuff is watchable. It's very good. It's even entertaining. But they have Marvel as their measuring stick, and
that's a lot to live up to.
That's a big ass shadow right now, and they're living in the shadow of Marvel.
But they got to look. They can't look at. See, I think the main problem with DC is they're looking at the next movie next year. Marvel's looking at the next movie, the next couple movies 10 years from now.
Yeah.
So they're looking at the grand scheme of things, how these things going to map out, and DC's just trying to make one big hit.
Totally.
Trying to get them one night stands, man.
Right.
So you know what? They're walking away with VD. We mentioned Wonder Woman 2. Wonder Woman 2, they got some set photos.
That looks good.
It's definitely going to be in the 80s.
Sucked into it.
There's the WW84.
I wonder how they're going to do that, though, because didn't she, the whole premise of Batman versus Superman was her being quiet for so long?
Yeah, there was that. see, that's the point, right? They're like going in. This is the part that scares me about DC is that
they're just plugging things in.
they're just plugging things in, right? They're like, oh, and this goes back to what I was talking about. Like,
Thor Ragnarok, they're good with a 80s theme back. We're going to do that too.
exactly, man. Exactly. It's like, all right, well, the 80s are a hip trend right now. Let's glom onto that. Wow.
They got to do it. If they're going to do it, they got to do it in the right way where she wasn't even noticed.
Make a good reason for it.
Right.
That's it.
Because nobody knew who she was until she came out in Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
They're like, who is this person?
Yeah, because certainly Batman was like, did you bring her? Or, it's
Yeah.
like, it was on nobody's radar.
Right. Especially if it ain't on Bruce Wayne's radar, it wasn't on nobody's radar.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of unfucking that they got to do.
Yep.
So that looked cool. The one thing that I saw pictures of on the internet, it was they're bringing back Steve Trevor.
Yep.
He had a fanny pack on and everything.
Is it like a flashback?
So
Do you have LA gears on?
I want to say he had
Tony
like-
Hawk rolling.
Well,
down the
first of all,
street.
he has to die because he wasn't in the Justice League's movies or Batman versus
Who
Superman.
knows, man?
If he doesn't die,
What, he's going to die again?
yeah, maybe.
Well, you know what?
Nobody dies in comic books. You told me this.
True. Fat Man on Batman. I'm a loyal listener.
I gotta listen to that. I
Yeah.
really do. I gotta download that podcast.
Mark Bernardin had a nice theory about it. I think it was Mark Bernardin had a nice theory about it. He basically said, "What if Martian Manhunter? What if Steve Trevor is Martian Manhunter? Because Martian Manhunter can shapeshift into look like anybody, and say he's just trying to make a connection on Earth to do good. And that's how they introduce." Something that's not intimidating, and that's how they introduce Martian Manhunter as Steve Trevor. Yeah. Who knows? It's a theory. Nobody knows it. I don't know if it's true.
Or maybe he's just a flashback.
Maybe. No. In the picture, he was dressed in 80s gear.
Maybe that was just him walking to the damn set.
It's whatever.
With a fanny pack on?
You never know with Chris Pine. Who knows?
He'll be able to bring it back, right?
They're good for storage, man.
They're very practical.
They are. They look cool too.
Roseanne
Again?
spinoff is not
They can't.
it's not out of the question. They're talking about like pay the maybe doing it with
Darlene is the
Well,
with
still,
Sarah
they have to
Gilbert.
explain about Roseanne, don't they?
Well, they killed off Dan at the end of the last one.
And then he came back. It's like
Yeah.
a comic book movie.
Yeah, but they did that pretty good. How they wrote that in there.
I didn't see it.
No,
I
I
was
didn't
just
either.
wondering how they were going to bring him back.
Just explain it to us.
No,
real
they
quick.
just they pretty much ignored the whole fact. Like they ignored the fact that last episode sucked. Mm-hmm. And then they played like a joke. He made a joke about it,
Like a
he was-
reference?
Yeah, he was just like it's kind of weird how those shows just act like somebody didn't die, and he did like a long awkward pause.
So, one last thing in the news is John Lasseter, one of the animation pioneers that started Pixar films, is leaving Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he was the front man. He was the staple. He was the guy who was considered the heart and soul of Pixar.
He was the Steve Jobs of that shit.
Yeah, he was really.
Where's
and he
he
was
going?
I
To an
don't
Sorry
know.
to cut you off. I didn't-
No, it's fine. I'm not sure. I just know he's leaving Pixar or Disney, where he was head of animation, and it's a shame because the dude was a badass when it came to and not even a badass. Whenever any of the interviews I've ever saw him, he just seemed like a really sweet guy that loved his craft, which was storytelling.
Yeah.
Storytelling, and he was the one that whenever I talk about Pixar and even Pixar's documentary, he was the one to say we always start with the story. We don't worry about anything else. I'm like, DC, are you listening?
Yeah, well, is not just DC. is everybody in Hollywood listening? The story.
Yeah.
Because that's what people care about.
Nowadays, especially, man, it's not like we're in the 80s anymore where we just like to see things blow up and see titties bounce. Don't get me wrong. I still like to see that.
Tango and Cash.
Easy. I'm still into that, but I can watch that on my own time. When I'm going to pay to the movies, I want to see extras.
Yeah, now when somebody's doing coke off of titties, like that's just like a number one seller.
That's called porno. And I do watch
that's called RoboCop.
Yeah, that's what that was the reference.
I was worded out, guys.
That is a nice deep cut to RoboCop.
80s and all.
Absolutely. And that's all I have for the news. So we wanted to talk about animation. We've been talking about cartoons and animation. We tipped a little into Saturday morning when we talked about, X-Men and what were the things that sort of got us into what we're into, all this geeky goodness stuff. But now the animation industry, I mean, coming off of this $180 million weekend, they're guaranteed cash cows. If they're anywhere in the realm of decent, if they even have a Pixar label on it or a Disney label on it, they're going to make money.
Yeah, even Wall-E made money, and that movie sucked. That movie was terrible, dude.
You didn't like the desolate lack of dialogue?
And I was appreciative of the fact that, like I said, like that was back before I had kids. One of the dads came into work and was like, yeah, my kid asked me to like let's leave. This is boring as hell. That's like a tall tale. I was like, dude, if you can't entertain an 8-year-old with a Disney movie, it's probably not good.
So that's kind of dovetails into a little bit of what I was talking about with John Lasseter. So John Lasseter is talking about the heart of Pixar. Always start with a great story. Pixar crushed when they first came out, right? Toy Story, and just continued hit after hit after hit. So much so that Disney had a deal with them. I think it was a distribution deal because they didn't have that kind of money. And after they were like, they're going to be a flash in the pan. They got lucky with Toy Story. They're not going to have another hit. And then it was another hit. And then it was another hit. And it was like 5 hits in a row.
Snowball.
And they crushed. And it consistently had these blockbusters, like 5 in a row. Nobody does that, right? Especially in animation. Disney was saying, we haven't done that. And this was back when Disney was going straight to video with all their princess stories and stuff like that.
That plan back then was horrible.
Yeah, they were in the trash bin. So what did Disney do? They bought Pixar.
Smart move.
Absolutely. And
can't beat them, join them.
But if you notice, and I don't know why John Lasseter is leaving, but if you notice, after they bought Pixar, all the sequels started coming out. They went up to Cars 5 or whatever we're up to. They got up to Toy Story 3. They're like...
But you have to admit, every Toy Story was really good.
Yeah, yes. Cars I wouldn't say so much.
Cars not so much, but I've never seen, like, you always think of animation, the first one's always great, and it dies off. But every Toy Story, you're just like, wow, Toy Story 3
Monsters
was
1 and 2
really good.
Monsters 1 and 2 is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it was because of guys like Lasseter. But I think if you would have probably asked him, he would probably be my opinion of this guy is based on
he wants to try something new every time.
He wants and he hires talented people who are thirsty for stretching their creativity. I mean, whether you like or dislike the short that was in the beginning of I think it was BAO, BAO, that was in the beginning of Incredibles 2. It was different.
It was.
And it was innovative, and it was it got your attention. Nick, sorry, I know you didn't see the movie.
That's okay. Go ahead, man.
But that one that comes to mind.
But real quick, Jamie, but that was probably one of his lead animators or writers or whatever that probably didn't have a front seat to the show all the time. Or maybe he did and just said, hey, man, I just want to try this. I think it's got teeth.
You also got to think, how long has a guy been in the business?
Long time.
Maybe he just wants to, like, dude, I want to take a step back, you know?
Maybe.
Probably wants to chill on an island, punch his clown.
I know, right? I mean, I'm sure he got a boatload of money when Disney bought him out already.
Why not? The dude's not worried about it.
And
he's a Hawaiian shirt wearing guy, too.
There you go.
He's going to the island.
Well, like that movie Up. Like, who would have thought that would have been good?
Dude, the first
That movie was really good.
Dude, they do the
It was sad, but
backstory.
good.
Yeah, they do the
I never seen
backstory.
it. I didn't see it.
Wow, it's
Nick,
really good.
They do the backstory. It's the most unassuming thing. Like you would be like, why do I want to know about an old couple? And it is sheer poetry. The way they it's no exchange in dialogue. It's all just this silent movie almost.
Yeah, they did it like old style.
Yeah.
It was like an old style, like old Mickey Mouse movie where they didn't really talk or anything, and they just like fanned through their whole life,
like Steamboat
and then
Willie.
and then they ended and then they ended up where they ended up.
Yeah,
It was done very well.
but that's the innovation part that
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
exactly.
Like, don't make another Toy Story. Make another. Not another Up, but a new something.
Yeah, something different.
Like they even did Brave, right? And they took a chance on Brave. It's
Still
a
didn't see
female
Brave,
lead.
but I heard it was good.
Brave was good.
Yeah. Like lots of good stuff. And I'm just afraid with that. And maybe that's why he left. Who knows? I'm just speculating. Maybe he was just like, I can't do this part anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to do his own studio. Who knows? But you're right, Nick. He's been in the game for a long time.
I mean, he's probably like in his 50s, maybe even his 60s by
Probably.
now. I mean, he's probably like, why wouldn't you enjoy your fruits of your labor at some point?
Yeah, but I think dudes like that is their enjoyment.
Maybe, you know.
I mean, look at Clint Eastwood. He's still banging out hits.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
movies.
that's
He's not acting anymore too much, but he does
True.
direct a lot.
Yeah.
So,
So-
you're right.
Yeah. And
I mean-
even, what's his name? Who did, what was it? Who did Road Warrior, the last Road Warrior? I forget the director's name, but he did, I think, the first Road Warrior. He's like 77 years old. And the dude made that movie in the middle of, I think he was in a desert in Africa and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Like, that's a badass, man. That's a dude that just loves his craft. To veer a little bit more back on course, these cartoons, animated films, whatever you want to call them, they capture your imagination when you're a kid.
Hell yeah.
And the best part about it is that they're getting so good now that you don't mind taking your kids to go see a cartoon.
and that's
And you would get enjoyment out of it.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and that's a good point. Like when it comes to like the princess movies, I mean, they're done very well to where I like them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The only one I do not like,
Here you go.
yeah, it's Frozen.
He hates Frozen.
I think the story sucks. It's played out. Like the only thing good they had was the music or whatever. But like Tangled, Moana,
Yeah.
those are killer movies. And
I
I could probably watch Moana like a
Oh
thousand
no, I
times.
love Moana's one of my
and not
favorite
get
movies.
bored.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
And not
and
get
I didn't,
bored.
and I thought it was going to suck. But back to the Frozen
It's got
thing.
The Rock in it, man. Come on.
Yeah, but still, it's Moana. It's
I
like
know.
you hear Moana. But back to the Frozen thing, I will say this about it is, I liked it, not loved it, but I liked it. What I liked about it is you didn't really know who the true villain was until kind of the end. It was like all about her hiding her abilities because she was afraid of what could happen.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was cleverly done.
Yeah.
Now, I get it. It's overplayed. Is it one of the greatest movies of all time? No. I would say Moana is better than that. I think there's more enjoyment out of Moana. Better songs, just... And who doesn't want to be on a tropical island? Seriously.
Yeah.
You know, they made it look great.
And they go into like the Polynesian and Hawaiian history
Yeah,
too.
exactly, which is really cool.
Yeah,
I
that
like
was
that.
pretty
I
cool.
like the part of that where they go into the caves. And it's just really well done. But you got to give it props to Frozen. I mean, in my view, I mean,
I'd rather watch Tangled. I thought Tangled.
I
was
never
better.
watched Tangled.
Tangled was way better than Frozen, in my opinion. If you're going to do Mario and princess movies, but
actually, I, if you really want to get technical, princess movies, I'd have to say Beauty and the Beast was.
it's
my
listen,
favorite.
no argument there. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah, my wife.
Yeah.
That's her favorite.
You know what I mean? Like that. Like I said, I've seen pretty much every.
And
I'm just saying,
and
Frozen.
Aladdin's my
Aladdin was good.
Aladdin's
That's
like my
amazing.
all time. It was my favorite growing up.
Frozen
Yeah.
was probably my least favorite though. Out of
I mean,
all.
I had a crush on Jasmine like you would not believe.
And you married a brunette.
Exactly. Jamie. What are you going to say there, Jamie? Come on.
I said
He likes
I was waiting for the comment. But no, yeah. Disney, you know, there was a time there when they were just making remakes and they were screwing everything up. But God damn, they made a lot of great movies. Like The Lion King. Who to this day, tell me right now, doesn't like The Lion King? I've not met anybody that does not like The Lion King.
We just saw it on Broadway. It was good.
Was Broadway good? I can't wait to see the live action. I'm really
Speaking of which, little segue, the live action trailer for Dumbo.
I didn't see it yet.
Oh my God, man!
It good?
Make you cry. Oh my God!
Yeah,
like,
movie's sad anyway.
So
does it look good though?
It looks amazing.
Disney is just ever since they did a live action Beauty and the Beast.
I know, but here we go. This is why we're so like flip floppy. Like we're like we hate lack of originality.
But then they do this,
and then they do this. We're like, I gotta see it
because you know why? Because it's catching up to the times. Like before this, you could only make these movies in cartoons or on computers. Mm-hmm. Now you can almost make them believable in real life.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, this movie. There's a scene. They do this remake of this song that's being sung when Dumbo's mom is in the cage he's in the trailer. She's shackled.
I haven't seen it in years.
She reaches her trunk through and scoops Dumbo up and cradles him and like swaddles him. They're doing that song throughout the trailer.
Are you serious?
And you're like, oh my God. You're like lip shaking and quivering as you're watching this thing. And but really, I gotta hold true to my original complaint, which is why not make another a movie that's just as memorable as Dumbo, but not Dumbo?
Well, it's taking the money, dude.
Yeah,
they know they got people like older people that love the original.
Yeah, and they want to expose their kids.
And if it's anything like Beauty and the Beast, where it got really good scores and it was really done. Emma Watson was awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And I like the guy they got for Gaston. That guy was great.
Yes.
You know, so it was. Kevin Kline was in that freaking movie.
Well, Danny DeVito's supposed to be in that Dumbo movie too.
Is he?
I'd like to watch. I can watch him. He's he's got an Instagram that's just about, or a Twitter account, I think, that's just his toe.
Just
takes a picture of his big. I think he calls it like big ugly toe or something like that. And he just takes it like it'll be like he'll look at his hotel room at the Eiffel Tower and be like, big toe visiting the Eiffel Tower.
That's awesome.
Like that. Yeah.
He's a good penguin too.
He's a great penguin.
I think people should take a note from him and just take Twitter like as a joke.
Yeah,
just like it's fun, man.
Yeah.
Not about like as like not to get all on this, but like
we have a whole episode.
Yeah, right.
That's a fact.
Go back to our Trolls episode. So we touched on a lot of different cartoons that we liked when we were, animated. We're going to stick to just movies because we could go deep with all kinds of just animation, from Saturday morning cartoons to after school cartoons. We talked about He-Man and Transformers and all that stuff.
They did make a movie of Transformers. So can I put that in?
Put that on your list, dude. Some of my favorites, and there are the Pixars and the Disneys, right? Disney is pretty formulaic, though. It's like it's a running gag that, it's a Disney animated movie. All right, which parent's dying? It's like
somebody dies in it.
Yeah, it's usually a mom or a dad, or both. But then there's the whole like DreamWorks, right? And DreamWorks they came out swinging too. Some of the stuff that I like from DreamWorks is one of my favorites is Kung Fu Panda. Like the first Kung Fu Panda, and I like this because I'm into a lot of the aesthetics and attention to detail. They went so deep. They went very deep on Chinese culture, right? All the characters are native to China. They have the writing was really solid. It was one of those things that transcends. It's very entertaining because when they came out, my boys were little. And they totally ate it up. But then I was sitting there like, oh my God, man, this is really good. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, there's so much so that there was a line that I loved from that, like just little things. Like there's the master who's a turtle, right? Turtle's like the clumsiest animal on the planet. Not clumsiest, but slow moving everything. Yeah. And they use him because he's really wise, and despite his shape and form, he's a kung fu master, right? And even the choreography was like they hired kung fu masters to go and do actual kung fu moves, and just a really well done show. the movie. But they have one that I talked to the boys about this. I actually wrote it down. The one phrase that they say is like so poetic. It says, "It's Master Oogway, this tortoise," and he goes to Poe, the main character, and he basically says, "Yesterday is history, tomorrow a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why they call it the present." And it's just so
That's
simple,
good.
isn't it?
That's really poetic.
Isn't that amazing, dude? It's so simple and
I didn't
poetic.
pick that up in that movie. Yeah.
But it was like little nuances like that I dove deep on, and of course the boys loved it, so we watched it 10 billion times. And then I'll go totally the other way, where it's like there's cartoons that aren't even like, they're not kid cartoons at all, and that's the DC and Marvel properties, right? And one of the things that I really done, two of my favorite animated, more on the adult side, cover the superhero genre, which is, Frank Miller's Dark Knight. When they did that, animated it, man, it was awesome. That and what was the other one? I mentioned it earlier. It was the Flash. Flash's Flashpoint Paradox. Yeah, that done amazing. Like brutal though. Like that's an R-rated. If you turn that into a movie, it's an R-rated movie. Like people getting chopped up, people getting killed, violence. It's
Really?
yeah, really good. And that was a Jeff Johns thing. He wanted to bring back Aquaman as somebody or the Flash and Aquaman as these like characters that everybody kind of like dismissed, or was like, you're the second rate. You're always going to be second to Superman and Batman and all that. He was like, no, dude, these guys are cool, man. They just have to have a good story behind it. And he was a contributor to those type of stories. But yeah, those are some of the big ones. Some of the classic ones, Akira. You think about
Akira.
Japanese animated movie. It's back in the 80s.
I heard of that.
You look at what they accomplished: hand-drawn animation, no computer graphics. Check out that movie. It's a pinnacle of animation excellence. Like anybody that's ever been into animation, they'll cite Akira as this quintessential perfection.
It's kind of like Ghost in the Machine type.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Really, really well done.
Is that anime?
Yeah, it's anime. Yeah.
Okay.
But you'll see like a building shatter, and it's almost like if you froze it, you could count each one of the shards of glass that are coming off the window panes. And somebody had to draw that. Mm-hmm. That was a big one. But one of my favorite movies as far as animated film is Iron Giant. Iron Giant.
Never watched.
Old school hand drawn animation. Awesome story, so much heart. It's just really, really well done. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really a great flick. Great flick to watch with your kids too.
Guess I'll have to check that out.
But there's some of the ones that I really dug. How about you guys?
I'll go. Well, I'll start. I mentioned it earlier was because I wasn't sure if we were going to do this when you were talking about not doing series of. But Transformers, the original movie.
Yes, 1985, baby.
It got me into Transformers. Like I said before in previous episodes, that was my show growing up every Saturday morning. But I'm not getting into Saturday morning shows. I'm getting into Transformers, the movie. It just sucked me in. I mean, outside Ghostbusters, that was probably the movie I watched the most.
That movie took 3 years to make.
Did it really? Yeah. That was back in the day when all animation movies
all hand drawn.
It takes a long time.
Yeah.
That was my go. That's probably my number 5. Number 4 was probably Aladdin. I love that.
It's a great movie.
Oh, it was awesome. And Robin Williams killed it.
Probably the most perfect role for him.
I can't. When you think of Robin Williams, you think of that and Hook. I was thinking Mrs. Doubtfire, but yeah, Hook could be in there. But I would think. Yeah.
All right, that's my one impersonation for.
Well, it was good though. I'll give you every once in a while. You're starting to get your card back there, John.
Yo, I got my card back. You heard what happened, right?
No. Real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Pippin from Lord of the Rings. follows us on Instagram on Twitter.
That's right. They are. You get your card back.
Yeah.
That's good. Then what was there was Zootopia.
Sorry, Billy Boyd.
Zootopia. I actually like that movie.
Zootopia is awesome.
It's a really
Zootopia
great
is
movie.
really
I put it on
yeah.
a year ago because I wanted Taylor to watch it.
That's a good story.
It was
Really
I
good.
was like, wow, this actually made me think a little bit about what's going on in this movie.
Yeah.
I liked the characters. I thought it was.
Dude, how about the
Really
chase scene in the Mouse City?
Yes, that was awesome. Little mouses that were running around. Everything was good. And they had like the different zones. And you find out at the end it was all about that one flower or something like that.
Yep.
That was good. And then I can't get past this because it's my daughter's probably all-time favorite movie, but it's the one movie I do not mind watching over and over again. It's Moana.
Yeah, I have to
Good.
agree with you there. That movie's good, man.
Yeah.
It's really
I
good.
could watch it like 1,000 times.
It doesn't bother me.
It's
It doesn't
Incredibles
bother-
for me, but Moana's really tight.
Yeah, I could see Incredibles being there, but when I'm watching it with, like, Taylor's watching Disney Junior and my daughter, and I'm like, I'm so bored of watching the same shit over and over again. Oh, real quick, Lion King's in there too, but it's not as good as this. I forgot about Lion King.
Yeah.
But I'll just put on Moana, and I'm like, I can enjoy it to some degree where I'm not being bored out of my mind. We're looking at my phone constantly while she's watching something. So, and then Lion King, but Lion King would be like 2 because it's just, who doesn't like the Lion King?
Lion King's amazing, man.
You know, it's just awesome.
I remember how big it was when it came out? Like, it blew up.
Nobody thought it was going to be good.
Yeah. It was an amazing movie.
It was, I think it was Disney's first original. Because Aladdin,
In a
there
long
was
time,
always
yeah.
an Aladdin.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's right about that. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
it
so
was.
It was an original, and nobody's like, Lion King, I don't know about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Surprise. They're making Broadway shows like 30 years later.
Yeah, right. It's probably their biggest money maker of all their movies. But that's my my list. So what about you?
I like. It's hard to say, but
There's
I'm
a
not-
lot to choose from.
I know
There
there's
is.
a lot. I'd have to say Incredibles is probably my favorite, like
Yeah.
the first one.
I could see that.
Yeah.
it's
I
great.
mean, that's one that I could like sit there and watch by myself.
It's a
that
rewatch.
movie's
It
amazing.
has a great
It's really
rewatch.
good. Moana is definitely it's up there. That is a really good movie.
Yeah.
Really good story.
It's surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, man, there's a lot of hype behind it, and then I got sucked into it, and I was like, man, this is really good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said,
You're welcome.
Well,
Got my
that-
freaking head forever.
well, and this is coming off of Frozen, where there's a lot of hype off that, and
You
I
didn't like
watched
it.
that, and I was like, what the hell? I
It
like,
was a girly movie.
I'm telling you though, it has nothing to do with that. It's a girly movie because I like Tangled. Tangles, it doesn't get any more girly than that.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen that. No.
I steer away from the songs, the movies that are
Yeah,
musical.
well, it wasn't even the songs because Moana has a ton of songs.
But they were
Yeah.
good songs.
Tangled
though.
has
They're
tons.
like, I'm like
Little
weird.
Mermaid.
No,
They're
I know,
good,
I
yo.
know.
Little Mermaid. That's all it is songs, and
I
that's
know.
a great movie.
That is a
they're
good
all
movie.
great movies, but like if I was to choose between a song with a movie, an animated movie with songs, an animated movie without songs, I'd go without every time.
Probably, I would too. But when you do watch these with songs, you're just like, some of them are just like Moana. You're just
Yeah.
like, wow, these are actually not cheesy
They're
songs.
so catchy.
They are.
And that brings me up to a good point is DreamWorks, because How to Train Your Dragon. That's definitely up
fantastic
there for
movie.
me.
That would be number 6 on my list.
Yeah,
if I
because
had a
it's
6.
got
Yeah.
it's got no songs. It's like all action. It's a
Love that
really good
movie.
movie,
And
and I like the second one too.
The
Yeah.
second one wasn't bad. I don't know about I haven't seen the third one, but
Well, then the
Third one's coming out.
third one's
it's coming out.
Yeah.
They just announced it. I just saw the trailer for it, but that's where I think they might be dipping in the well a little bit because, supposedly Hiccup is older now. He's more of an in charge. I think maybe his dad has passed or something, so he's chief of the village, and his dragon, the Night Fury, actually finds a girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
So it's a light.
It's like
Fury.
it's like a what?
Yeah, we're
what-
going a little too far down
Yeah.
the road here.
So, and then I'm gonna have to. Is that how many was that? 4?
I think that was 3.
Okay, and then I'm gonna have to go with Wreck-It Ralph. That movie was.
I knew
that
you.
movie-
I already knew that was on his list.
Dude, that movie was awesome, man. That movie was funny. It had solid video game references in there that were like ridiculous, and the whole concept of how they travel through a surge protector is awesome. And like when you go in there, and they even had like the little like insignias on the outlets and stuff. I was like, man,
I love that stuff. I love the attention to detail.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like solid nuggets like that. And like I said, it's like the game that they made that Wreck-It Ralph was in was a cross between Rampage and Donkey Kong, dude. Like, I mean, like, how do you do that?
I still have to see that movie.
Yeah,
check it out.
It's really good. And then I'm trying to think of it. And I'd say Aladdin. Aladdin would probably be my last one.
Yeah. Did you guys ever watch?
Oh, Toy Story.
No, see,
Toy Story's
it was on my list. That
Dude,
would be
Toy
like
Story
in the top
is
10.
so good.
Yeah,
It really
it's
is.
on my list too.
Yeah.
Toy Story was so good.
Yeah,
All three of them were good. Number three was really good.
3 was scary.
Yeah, that's why it
Lotso,
was good.
yeah.
They took a little nugget and they twisted it on you a little bit.
Melt these guys are in a concentration camp going to the fire.
Yes.
And Lotso was a dick, dude.
Yeah.
Like he was like, he was like built out of like he once loved, and now he was scorned, and he was an asshole.
It's so dark, right?
And he had a mallet. What was that all about?
And then they had the creepy, like the enforcer that was that
Yeah, the baby.
baby. Oh,
That was awesome.
Well done.
yeah,
Well done.
The Pixar knocks it out of the park. I mean, there's so much. I mean, did you ever watch any of the stop motion animated movies? Like, there's a company called Leica. They did Paranorman. I think they did Monster House, which I love that movie. That movie's great.
Yeah.
And they did, it's a great movie. You have to check it out. Same type of stop motion animation. Actually, it's a little combination, I believe. Is Kubo with the 2 strings and the 2 strings.
What the hell is that?
I know it sounds like you'd never want to even. It sounds like a
Where
foreign
do you
film.
where do you pick these movies up?
Dude, check.
That sounds like that's Swahili for pussy repellent.
Check it out, man. You will not be disappointed. Matter of fact, you'll be.
Like my wife won't walk in and be like, "What the fuck?"
She won't even say what the fuck. She just say and walk out the door.
Yeah, Cuba with the 2 strings. But it goes back to that. It harkens into this, like a Japanese tradition of
Yeah,
storytelling.
I still think she's walking in with lingerie and walking out in sweatpants.
So they're good, man. They're good. I mean, it's hard to pick favorites, man, because they're different, right? You got movies that you had hand drawn, animated, song accompanied movies. Then you have kind of like darker movies, like some of the ones that I mentioned, like Akira and Frank Miller's and some of the superhero genre stuff. But then you have ones that are kind of in between. And they all the way I see it, you have these moments, right? You have the ones when you were a kid, right? And you appreciate them as a kid. Then you have the ones when you're kind of an adult with kids, right? And then you have the ones that you just like, regardless of any of the accoutrements, right? So there's a lot to choose from, but I think they're all good stuff. But check out that movie if you can. You won't be disappointed. If you are, then I'll put $5 in the swear jar. So that's all we have for this week's episode of the Nick, John, and Jamie show. Thanks everybody for joining us this week. And if you're digging the show, leave us a 5-star review and check us out on iTunes or Google Play and subscribe away. Have a great week, everybody.
Good.